Hi, I'm Nicholas.
And I'm Lindsay Mead.
And you're listening to Two Bad Pagans.
Today we'll be discussing
Listener Mail!
A whole show dedicated to addressing your thoughts and questions.
Thank you so much for listening.
And enjoy the show. Hi, everybody. Hey, how's it going?
Welcome back.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I just want to point out.
Oh my God.
In the last podcast, we said we were going to do a show right away.
Yes, we did.
We did, and then we didn't. And I'm like, it wasn't my fault.
I'm conspicuously silent here.
Nick suddenly turned into like Mr. Busy.
It's true.
He did. And
I'll explain why in a bit.
Okay, but we're here now.
We're here now.
We are here now.
We love you guys, and we're so happy to be back this month.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
And we're never, ever going to promise to do another show soon, ever again, because we probably won't follow through.
We're bad.
We're bad podcasters.
We stuck to pretty much a podcast per month schedule. I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah.
Last year around Christmas, it was a little difficult.
Yeah. Did we do something We did something last month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
We just, at some point, we missed a show. And that's why we want to do 2 last month.
Oh, you're right. Mm-hmm. It was the month before that.
Yeah. So, sorry.
Sorry about it. We're
our
almost...
bad.
Yeah. I think this is our year anniversary, though, of doing the show.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Well,
cool.
It's episode 12 for us, and if we missed a month, then that means that this would be episode 13 in October. Because I remember talking about Samhain the first podcast that we did.
So this is our 1-year anniversary right here?
I think so.
All right. Well, happy anniversary, Nick.
Happy anniversary!
I feel like I should have gotten a cake or something.
Oh, there's still time.
There's still time. You can still get me flowers, you know.
Whatever. I'm not opposed.
So,
yes.
Life.
Life.
You wanna talk about life?
Sure. We can talk.
Just quickly update everybody on why you got so busy and all that.
We can talk about life. Well, if you follow my YouTube channel, which I will talk about later on in the show, you will know that my dad went into surgery shortly after we recorded the last podcast. I think it was like the week after.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like major life-threatening surgery, just
stressful.
Just stressful.
Lots of questions, and then just the whole medical atmosphere, and then going into surgery. Just a stressful thing anyway.
It is very stressful, and it's very different. My family's not one where a lot of medical crap happens to. Mm-hmm. Like, I think this is the first surgery we've had since, like, one of my brothers had their appendix out when they were, like, 8. You know,
mm-hmm.
We just don't go to the hospital very often because we generally don't need to.
Right. So
it was very different for us, and yeah, so it was very stressful. They were throwing around. My dad had a growth in his lungs that they didn't know what it was, and so they had to go do surgery to figure out what it was, and they threw around the cancer word a lot. They discovered it's not cancer, yay. But
yay.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? It's just very... My parents are to that age now where crap just starts happening.
Yeah.
That's not good. So it was very much a mortality wake-up call. Like, oh, hey, my dad might not be around for very much longer. I mean, he could be around for I know. It was a very difficult time for me. But anyway, he could be around for 40 more years.
I'm sure he will.
Yes. I know my mom will, because
she's too stubborn to die or something?
She's too stubborn to die, and her mom is going to be 100 in a month, so, my mom is going to be, one of those that keeps living, and she'll be like that. Anyway, so, I had the hospital thing, and then, I had to get up at 4:30 in the morning to go to the hospital to see my dad before surgery. And then I had to work until midnight that night. Mm-hmm. So the next day, I slept all day, and then I had to go back to work, and then I worked for a week and a half. Just every day. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm sorry, Lindsay.
You can't.
I just can't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so frazzled right now.
It happens.
It happens. So I'm sorry, guys. I really intended. I was like, we'll find a time, but with everything going on, I just couldn't. So
It happens, but
that.
at least things are good now.
Things are good now,
Yeah.
and I'm starting to try and relax before the holiday season gears up.
And everything gets stressful again.
Yeah, for completely different reasons. But yeah, there's that. Life is good again.
Good.
They're starting to figure out what's going on with my dad, so we're starting to get test results back, and that is it's good to know. The hardest part is just the not knowing.
Yeah, and the waiting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that is life. I'm having a good time. I recently developed an affinity for Magic the Gathering, which
He's been talking about this for like 2 days now.
is true.
Like 3 times he's brought it up today alone.
I've become a bit obsessed, but it's an interesting concept. Fun little game. Not quite little anymore, but it's
it's been around forever.
It has. Apparently,
forever.
Yeah, apparently 20 million people play it.
He's someone at Barnes & Noble, when I went to pick up Nick from work, had said Nick needs to get Lindsay to play it, and I'm like, oh no. Like, my brother plays it, my stepbrothers play it, my brother-in-law plays it.
Yeah.
They played it when they were kids, they play it now, and I'm like, I just don't think so.
Yeah, I'm good.
You just don't want to do what your brothers do.
I can understand that. I don't think anyone in my family plays Magic, so I'm kind of okay.
Plus, it's something that you become dedicated to, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like playing World of Warcraft.
Yes.
Everybody's like, oh, you'd really like World of Warcraft, Lindsay. And I'm sure I would.
Yeah.
But then I would never, ever finish a book.
Or do anything else.
I'm like, so I need to kind of, I play these online role-playing games. Like, I play Pirate 101 and Wizard 101, which are very family-friendly. Mm-hmm. And I like playing those because I can play them for like 3 days and I get sick of them.
Yeah.
I don't want to play them anymore. So then I go back to the real world and I do things that, in the grand scheme of things, I'll be very happy that I did. Mm-hmm. And then every now and then, like a month from now, I'll be like, I suddenly have this urge to be a pirate or be a wizard, and then I'll go play that for 3 days.
Yeah.
And get sick of it. And kind of the same with The Sims.
Yeah.
I've been playing The Sims since Generation 1, but it's not, you can't get really obsessive about those games. At least I can't.
Yeah. I can.
And I'd be afraid, like, if I played World of Warcraft, that I would get obsessive about it. But actually, maybe I wouldn't, because they're all kind of... After a while, you figure out what the pattern is, and then you realize that it's just the same thing over and over again.
Possibly.
So, maybe I wouldn't.
I don't know.
I just don't need more hobbies.
Me either. But it's... Yeah. Anyway. So that's my life.
Good.
How's your life?
Good. I quit my job.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if I talked about it in the last podcast or not, that I was going to be putting in my notice.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. It seems like it was too long ago, but maybe I did. But I put in my notice at Barnes & Noble, and I quit my job on October 7th, and I have been a free woman.
Woo!
Since then. Yeah, it's been great. Weird. Totally weird.
Yeah.
Like, I think the first week was a pretty massive adjustment. Mm-hmm. Like, it was just this odd, and I'm still struggling with it now, like, because for so long, I've always, like, had a job and gone to school and tried to write a book, or some variation of those 3 things. Mm-hmm. And always trying to write a book and make this dream come true. So I'm in the mindset of that, and I got into the habit of, I'd work a couple of days, and then I'd have 3 or 4 days off. And I would okay, I've got to do all these things in these 3 or 4 days, and then I have to go back to work. So it was like every day was a countdown. Yeah. Until I have to go back to work. And then I go back to work, and I'm like, okay, 2 days till I get 3 days off, or whatever it ends up being. So that still creeps up. I'll start to get this kind of like icky feelings, and I'm like, ooh, like something dreadful and terrible is coming, and then I'm like, oh no, I don't have to go to work. I don't have to go to school. No. I got every day forever to do whatever the hell I want. Right? And I'm like, okay, it's okay. But I almost had this inkling of stress that just it's telling me I'm forgetting I need to go to work, or I'm forgetting that I need to go do something. So there's that weird adjustment thing going on in my brain right now, but it's getting better. The last 2 days I think have been very good for me. Good. And I've been kicking butt. on the sequel to The Beast, book 2. And it's just about finished. I've only got like one more chapter and a half to write.
Yeah.
And the first draft is done, and then I can start editing it.
That's awesome.
So now that I'm not working, I'm floating. I'm just floating with the words.
Going through.
Yes.
Are you going to do NaNoWriMo this year?
I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Are you still planning on it?
I think so.
Good. It's National Novel Writing Month, for anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in some of our first podcasts.
We did, yeah.
Quite extensively.
Yeah. That's just a whole month where you try to write an entire book, and I have full confidence in myself.
Yeah.
I can absolutely finish the book in 1 month. And they only require you to write 50,000 words, which isn't even a full novel.
No.
I am going to come in above 50,000 for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're very confident about this.
I am very confident because this last week I've been writing at least 2K a day, 2,000 words a day.
Yeah, and to finish NaNoWriMo, you need to do like
1,700.
Yeah, 1,700.
Mm-hmm. So as long as I keep that up and nothing happens to really distract me, I absolutely can come in over 50,000 and win NaNoWriMo for the first time ever.
Yay!
Yeah.
I feel terrible because I still haven't finished my NaNoWriMo from last year.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, I really want to finish that before starting NaNoWriMo this year. But on the same side, last year I started NaNoWriMo with like no basis for where I was going to go with the novel I was writing. And I came to a point where I just couldn't imagine more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, okay, story stop, because I don't know where to go from here.
Yeah.
So I feel like I should spend the next 2 weeks just plotting out the book that I'm going to write.
Yes.
I feel like that's the best decision.
It's the only way to avoid the roadblock.
Yeah.
You will come to, and then you'll waste days because you won't know what to write next. So you need to at least have some sort of a rough outline, something that will carry you through the word counts.
Definitely.
It doesn't have to be heavily detailed, but it's got to be. You have to have an idea of where you're going.
Yeah. Because even with my last novel, like the one that I'm trying to finish, I know where I'm going to, but I'm still in the course of like finding all the weird stuff in the middle of the story. Mm-hmm. Like I was like, well, this is happening, and then this is happening, and then I was like, oh, he's in this cool little setting here. I want to explore this a little while before we go to the climax of the book. So I think I just added another like 10,000 words developing this side story for no other reason than it makes me happy.
Yeah.
Because I don't plan on releasing the book, so...
Right. Yeah, so don't worry about it so much.
Yeah. So
do what you want to do.
Do what I want to do. But if I'm to be successful at writing the novel in the month, I really think I need to...
You need a plan.
Mm-hmm. So...
You do.
I'm gonna... I think that's what I'm gonna work on and just let the other book slide to the back until December.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Not this month.
Not this month. You're gonna have it finished.
This year I'm gonna have my book finished and ready to go into book 3, which is exciting.
That is very exciting.
It's exciting.
I remember like back early spring you were like, well, I'll have The Beauty finished. Cross our fingers. Because The Beast hadn't been released yet.
Right.
So it was that concept of, The Beauty hasn't been released, but I'm going to have The Beast hasn't been released, but I'm going to be done, I think, by NaNoWriMo, so I can work on The Curse. Is the third?
Yes.
Yes.
Like, wait, what is it? Yes.
I almost said The Crown. The Curse.
It's The Curse.
Yes. And I don't know, yeah. So much fun. Guys, I have to tell you, I was hanging out at the bookstore the other day, and I had a customer come up to me, and she asked me what my favorite books were. So I was like, well, this book and this book. And then I was like, and then my other favorite right now is this book, The Beast by Lindsay Mead. And she's like, isn't that one book that's over there? And I was like, yes, it's that one. And she's like, I bought like 3 copies of that. I love that book. It's my favorite. I had to buy it for everyone I knew. And I was like, I actually got to read that before it was published because I know the author really well. And she's like, oh, no way. Like, she was having a total fangirl moment. It was amazing.
It's so weird. It's awesome, but it's so weird to think about.
I know. I was like, I read this book back when it was like 7 chapters, when all you were giving to people was 7 chapters.
Right.
Those first... I'm like, oh.
Essentially, when you said you got to read it before it was even released, it was like you were name dropping without
It's
actually
true.
name dropping.
It's true. I totally was name dropping. That's what I was doing. I was like, yeah, I'm that guy.
It's awesome.
Look at the acknowledgments. I'm there.
That's true. You are in the acknowledgments.
That's very
He has special mention.
Yay!
Yay! And if you stay my friend long enough, you'll get a series dedicated to you.
Yes! But yeah, I was like having my own geek out moment. Because I was like, someone's really passionate about my friend's work.
That's
really
crazy.
Cool. It was really fun.
That is fun. That's
And
exciting.
of course, then I had to go tell Lindsay, and she was like, "Yay!"
It's true. I had my own little fangirl moment right then. Yeah.
It was good. We loved it.
Okay, so you want to talk about homework?
No.
Well, neither do I, but you put it on the schedule, so we got to talk about the homework. So in the last podcast, I set some homework for myself and for whoever wanted to participate to set up an altar for Mabon. Yes, Mabon.
Yes.
And then have Mabon. And then take down the altar and set up one for Samhain.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. It was just supposed to kind of be that. And I didn't do that.
I didn't either.
It's
Oh,
terrible.
God.
However, I did set up a Halloween altar without actually realizing that I was setting up a Halloween altar.
It's true.
I
very
had
cool.
set up on the record player. I had put up. First, I started as just a pumpkin, and then there was some bale twine, and then there was some acorns,
Mm-hmm.
and then I bought Day of the Dead statues, and I put those next to it, and that's kind of when I started to realize that this is basically a Halloween altar. It doesn't have all the religious paraphernalia so much,
Yeah.
because it's in the public living room, so that's not there. But there's a candle on there, and I've just kind of gradually added to it. It's very Halloween themed, but
Yes.
it's also got harvest in it, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought, well, this could be considered an altar because it's all in like one little spot, and it's a display, and
Mm-hmm.
I get kind of fussy when people move things around on it.
And it like is a little creepy sometimes when
It
the
is a
light
little
hits it
creepy
right.
sometimes, yeah. Yep, that the female Day of the Dead skeleton is creepy. But I thought when I bought them too, I like them a lot. They're really awesome. It's a male and a female. And I thought I could do like a Day of the Dead altar one year.
Yeah.
And they could become my symbols for the god and the goddess for the Halloween season or for just around the Day of the Dead holiday.
Mhm.
And then put them away. And I'm like, I didn't realize that when I bought them that they could be my representation for the god and the goddess
Yeah.
and fit the theme.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
They're cool.
So yeah, that's all I've done so far. But
Mhm.
I still might do something for Samhain. I haven't put up a Halloween altar in my private quarters where I can get super religious-y about it
Yeah.
with pentacles and
Stuff.
that stuff.
Yay.
Maybe I should do that soon. So okay, yeah, that's my homework for the next podcast. To still put up
the sound altar.
yeah, the incomplete work.
Yes.
To get a passing grade. I'll
Okay.
have to complete the assignment
Okay.
that I am past due on.
Yes, I am too. I don't think I did anything. I was like, yep, it's a holiday. I should really do something.
You did decorate.
I did, but that was like this week.
Yeah. It's
But-
something.
It is. I do have to say, for years in my Halloween decorations, I've included witches' hats just because I think they're fun and different. And different witch paraphernalia.
Mm-hmm.
This year, I put a witch's hat on the top of my bookcase and had like this black fabric flow from underneath it and then some creepy fabric flow beneath that.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, it's kind of like this little witch spirit is inhabiting the top of my bookcase and just flowing from the hat and knowledge. And I don't know.
You would come up with a story for your decorations.
I do frequently. I have this pumpkin.
Oh, Lordy.
They're these cute little, they're painted black on the outside. They're ceramic pumpkins that you put a tea light in.
Yeah.
And then they each have a neon color on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like 3 small pumpkin shapes and then 6 votives and 2 for each. There's like green and purple and orange. And so there's 2 votives of that color and then 1 pumpkin of that color.
Mm-hmm.
They're my little pumpkin family. And they're on my other bookcase.
Well, that's cool.
Halloween decorations are kind of my thing. So
That's true. Mm-hmm.
it's true.
I was going to take a tip out of your playbook and buy some construction paper and cut some bats and things out of it to stick on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Aw.
But I was thinking this morning I would swing by Meijer and get some cookie cutters that are Halloween shaped, and then I can draw the bats out and then follow that line, because I don't think I can wing it.
I think I started with, it was cookie cutters. I think it was shapes in Martha Stewart Living or something like that. Like that she had, hey, use this cutout figure.
Yeah.
And then I think I freehanded from there.
And I saw this thing, if I can find a cookie cutter that matches it, of maple leaf. I saw someone who actually, they made a wreath out of paper maple leaves. And it was just, it wasn't a big fancy thing. It was pretty simple, but I might do something like that.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
My policy this year is to start small with my decorations, because I really want to do the house up in Halloween, but it's too expensive, and everything just adds up super fast. Even if you make it yourself, buying the things that you need, the little crafting supplies and stuff, it still adds up super, super fast.
So quickly.
So I got my Day of the Dead statues, which were $15 a piece, so about $30. And then I bought a small pumpkin, I bought the ears corns, and I'm doing a pumpkin carving party this Sunday. We're definitely theming up the whole festive party, Halloween feel type to it. And I got paints for costume and stuff. And I thought, well, you know what? Oh, and I bought a candle holder that's got a cat. It's shaped like a cat with some bats in it.
Aww.
And I thought, that's good for this year, I think. Aside from, I'll do the construction paper thing, because I think that's relatively cheap. But otherwise, I think I'll keep it at that. And then next year, I'll add a few more things. And then the year after that, I'll add a few more things. And if I do any crafty stuff like the construction paper, I'll try to save it, so that way next year I don't have to buy the new supplies and redo it.
I know, I have a bunch of stuff that I had made over the years. Like I have these spider egg sacks.
I saw those in your blog.
They're so creepy.
Yeah, every now and then that filters through Facebook. I'm like, easy, do-it-yourself spider egg sacks. I'm like, screw you.
Oh, man.
I don't want that hanging in my house.
They freak me out.
It's too much.
And I'm such a perfectionist, which is why I don't do it anymore. But I remember the first year that I did it, and I was super into Halloween decorations, and I made up my whole house, or apartment, I guess. But it was like this whole wall of that spider wrap, and I was very methodical about it, so it looked like, sort of like, you know how that fake spider web looks really fake a lot of the times, unless you get it right? Well, I worked really hard so it looked right, and then it like on the big sacks, and it was so creepy. And then actual spiders decided to take up residence, and I was like, nope. Nope. I'm not putting these up again. This is not
going to happen.
Yeah, but I still have them just in case.
Yeah.
So I don't have to remake them. They're super easy.
I would love to do, and I showed this to you, I think, when I found it, and I really wanted to do it, and I actually forgot about it. But I'm remembering now, and I still really want to do it.
The Haunted Village?
No. Oh. Well, yes, but no. I would love to do that, but that'll probably be a next year craft. But that was supposed to be the Haunted Village. You buy the Christmas houses from the dollar store. So I'll probably have to wait till Christmas time, and then when those show up at the dollar store. And the dollar store opened up just down the road from me.
Nice.
And I'm super excited about it. I was like, because usually I had to drive a half an hour to get to the Dollar Tree. But now there's one 10 minutes away, and I'm like, yes!
Yes!
Yes! I love being in the country, like I am now, but it's still kind of a pain in the butt sometimes.
It's true.
So, no, that's not what I was thinking I wish I had done this year. But I wanted to do the Edgar Allan Poe wreath. And that's basically where you take an old book, or make it look old, and you take pages and you roll them into scrolls. And then you take those foam wreaths that you get at Christmas time, and then you just you hot glue the papers all around it, so it looks like the wreath is just made out of these rolled up pages from books, and they're tied up with binder twine and stuff.
Interesting.
And then you get a crow, or a raven, whatever you want to call it, and then you hot glue that, and so it's sitting on the paper wreath.
Interesting.
Maybe a bow. You could probably do a black bow too. But it looked amazing. Like, it looked like this really expensive Halloween decoration that's very unique and creepy, but not terrifying.
Yeah. And
I'm like, I want to do that, and so maybe I don't know if I'll do that this year because money, but It's definitely on my list of things I'd like to do at some point.
Sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to do a craft day with you.
Yeah.
You know. Mr. B. Mr. Billy.
We'll have to plan it better next year.
Yeah, we say that a lot, don't we?
We do.
But you never know until you get there. But maybe we could, if we're smart or, have enough foresight, we can pick a day earlier in the year to do something like that.
Definitely. And I think without you working, it'll be easier to find.
It will. That's what I thought. I'm like, now that I'm not going to be working, I'm going to be able to go and do things with people. And then, suddenly everybody's too busy for me. And I'm like, I'm losing my friends.
I know. I felt so terrible.
I was thinking, this is why so many YouTubers have other friends that are YouTubers, because they don't have jobs and they can do things together. The YouTube is their job, so they hang out all the time and they go places and do things. And I'm like, I need some YouTuber friends.
I'm a YouTuber-ish.
You are, but you have a full-time job, so you have no time.
That's true. At any rate, I felt so terrible. Lindsay and I are both very introverted people, and we don't have to talk all the time to maintain our friendship, which I really appreciate as an introvert. But I could start to see Lindsay put in little I'm just hanging out with Nick, and in random places, in the vlog or in comments for the vlog, and I'm like,
he's smart enough to notice my little hints and jabs.
Oh yeah, and I started feeling so sad. I'm like, I know.
I sent you that message on Facebook asking if you wanted to go with me to pick out pumpkins, and I know you saw it because it told me you saw it, and then you never said yes or no. You just didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking of, I should tell Nick this. I should share this with Nick. And I'm like, he never answered that question. Well, I am not going to reach out to him if he's not going to reach out to me. I had this whole rant with my dad too. And I'm like, it's a simple yes or no, Dad. Why can't he just give me that? and then I ranted on the vlog about, because my horoscope said that I was going to start losing friends around December. Once I have a shift in friends. And I said, well, I feel like I'm kind of having that now with all my friends, and this whole rant came out. And then I swear to God, an hour after I had that rant on camera, you messaged me on Facebook, yeah, let's get together. It was 4 messages. So I deleted that footage. It never happened.
That's the wonderful thing about vlogging. Oh, that part of the day, just nope.
Yep, I was never upset.
No? Oh my God. Lindsay and then another friend of ours, Emily, will talk about how terrible I am at responding to Facebook messages.
Terrible.
Because I don't get on Facebook very often.
It's good, that's partially my fault. You don't ever get on Facebook, and I don't have a phone, so you can't text me, and I can't text you. But maybe that's a good thing, because if I was texting you, then I wouldn't be able to know when you'd seen it, and you'd just get 50 messages from me, it's been a week, I need an answer.
I'd be okay with that. Lindsay's always like, oh, but I would do this, and I'm like, meh, I'd be okay with that.
He's pretty laid back.
It is true.
Which is why we're friends.
It is true. True story.
Okay, do you want to talk about listener mail now?
Sure.
Okay.
We have a little bit of listener mail.
Yeah, we have a good chunk of listener mail. So we thought we'd kind of try to dedicate this whole show to answering everybody's questions and make it a viewer's day.
Yay.
Or listener's day. You're not really viewing anything.
No, this isn't YouTube.
No. However, we are on YouTube now.
This is true.
We have the Too Bad Pagans podcast on YouTube, the YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. And for a while, we were streaming live for a while. But the audio quality and the video quality wasn't so great.
No.
And all it took was one person complaining about it. And we couldn't quit doing it.
It's true.
Plus, I think we didn't like having to try and address both, the recorder as well as the camcorder. It just was a bit much. And so anyway, we got 4 shows up that way. And then it occurred to me that I could still upload the audio. Mm-hmm. And those who can't listen to us on iTunes or other podcasting areas, they can still listen to us on YouTube.
It's true.
So I've gone back and I've started uploading some of our older audios. I've still got 3 or 4 more to go before we're caught up, but that's an option if you ever need a new place to go. And it's just, you don't see us or anything unless you watch the few video casts that we did, but for the most part it's just an in slate and then our audio. Exactly what you hear here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good times.
Mm-hmm.
So we have listener mail from Danny. He says, we actually have 2 emails from him. He says, "Hi again, friends. If we keep this up, you'll have to name the segment after me." And then he says, "LOL," which is especially funny because before he emailed this, Lindsay and I were like, we should just give him a producer credit or something for giving us so many topics for the show.
Because we always tell you guys, if you want to send us topics, you totally should. It makes it easier for us to come up with things to talk about. And he sent us just about like all of them.
Yes.
He's like our special guest producer.
Yes. So this message is from special guest producer Danny.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about homework. And maybe one was a few days ago, and they're in the transition of moving, and so they have all their stuff packed up. So they took an adventure to a little old cemetery and spent maybe on with some otherworldly friends, which I think is...
Which I kind of like, when I read that, I was like, oh wow. Because I know that a lot of pagans go to cemeteries.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could do that. If I was with somebody else, I could, but by myself... Maybe during the day, but not anywhere near dusk. Yeah. No way. I would freak myself right out. I really would.
I used to be like that, but I don't know. I don't know what's different. I walk through the cemetery all the time on my way home from work.
And dude, and sometimes you put that in your vlog, and it still freaks me out.
Because...
Like, I'm going to see a shadowy figure behind him any second now.
I know. And the reason why I do this, it's a tiny, tiny little cemetery, but it goes away from the road for about a minute, and it allows me to talk to the vlog without hearing all the traffic noises.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. And it's a nice, peaceful, beautiful little setting. Anyway.
Dude, no, I don't even like... I'm so bad. There's a cemetery on my way to my mom's house, and it's kind of this creepy thing that's like next to a swamp area, and it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It's not near a church or anything. And like, I kind of glance at it during the day when I drive by it to go to my mom's, but then on the way back, it's always dark out because it's nighttime, and I don't even... I hate it because I'm like... I'm going to see somebody standing there one of these days. I am, like, convinced that, like, a shadowy figure is going to somehow appear in this graveyard as I go by. So I try to kind of look at it, but then I start to think, well, what if they appear in the road? And what if I feel like I should stop my car because I think there's someone in the road, but really it's just a ghost demon thing trying to take my soul and kill me. That's where my brain goes with it.
I've totally been there. Just why I'm laughing.
It doesn't matter how... I mean, I'm going to be turning 30 in April, and I think that will be that way forever. That's just the way my brain works.
Yeah, that's completely okay. Yes. So, Danny and his wife spent some time with some otherworldly friends. And now they have a suggested topic for us. He says, we're fairly new to being pagans, learning as we go and growing our own personal practice, and they don't know any others to share their ideas with. That said, they were planning on jumping headfirst into the pagan community and get right out of their comfort zone this October by going to a weekend-long pagan festival in Tennessee called the Festival of Souls. They're really excited about it, they said, and they're nervous and didn't really know what to expect. So, before we answer the other piece of mail, why don't we answer this question he has for us? What has been our experience with pagan festivals and or similar? And then he thanks us for podcasting.
I'm just guessing, but I'm feeling like we're not going to have anything to offer here since I'm pretty certain neither of us have been to a pagan festival. Have you?
No.
No, yeah. See? Neither have I. I've never even been to a Ren fair.
I haven't
Which
either.
I'm told has a lot of pagan stuff in it.
But I've been to several... It's different. But I've been to several pagan shops. And I get... Maybe we should answer his next piece of mail before I...
Because he wrote another email after they went to the Festival of Souls about their experience there, and it kind of ties into his question in the first email.
Yes, he actually wrote it a couple of hours ago.
Did he really?
Yeah, like 5 hours ago.
He's like, where is your podcast?
Dude, you said you'd be back, guys, and you're not back. Anyways, he says, you haven't put up a new episode since my last suggested topic, so... quote unquote.
That's kind of like his passive aggressive way of saying put a podcast up.
Yeah. Hey, somebody misses us. That's cool.
That's nice.
Yeah. So I thought you guys would be interested in hearing how things went. He says he's sad to report that they bailed on the festival, and then he says in parentheses, I guess I'm keeping up with the bad pagan theme of the show, haha, which made me laugh.
Well, that has two show hosts that have never been to a pagan festival. So, yes,
Yes.
it is.
It is. They went there, at least. He says they drove there 9 hours to the park. The drive was beautiful with colors, and they were super excited. They made it to the campground just as it got dark and got their tent set up. They found their way to the registration area. Everyone was eating and having a good time. But it felt like a high school cafeteria-ish, and they felt this overwhelming feeling that they were out of place. They said they did register and waited around to spark up the conversation with people. But by the time the first ritual had started, they were packed up and gone. And he wants to make it clear that the people were nothing but kind to him at the festival. But they just had this sixth sense that they were out of place and that they just weren't meant to be there, which I can understand. There are a number of factors, he says, that went into play. First of all, they are outsiders, and everyone there knew each other or had, groups. And you could see that he says, as you walked around the registration area. They're also not part of the region, and it's clear that they're out of town. And lastly, I think Lindsay and I can appreciate this, they're a bit introverted. They were expecting it to be so full of people that they could come and enjoy the workshops and blend into the crowd, but that's just not what happened. In hindsight, he says, each should have seen it coming and found something closer to home. But if nothing else, it's a learning experience, and they'll try and stick to small public events like Pagan Pride Days until they find some pagan festivals to go with. And then he wishes best, gives best wishes to the people there. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, I don't know. I wasn't there, and I don't know. I don't have an idea of how many people were there. I mean, we're talking like 10 or 20, because then I can understand what he's saying.
Yes.
But if we're talking like in a cafeteria full of people, that's kind of a lot of people. So I feel like, yeah, everybody's got clicks no matter where you go. When I was part of Mary Kay years and years and years ago, we went to a Mary Kay convention in Dallas, and there was a ton of people there, but you could still see everybody had their own little groups. And
yeah.
And you went to the workshops and you found yourself a seat and you observed and you watched, and that's what I would expect from. I guess if your goal is to make lots of friends, it'd be different, but I don't know. If you're just there to observe and to learn and not necessarily be part of I don't know. I
don't either. I think like going to a huge festival like PantheaCon, or that's what I would expect, or I'm trying to think of the big pagan festivals. PantheaCon is the one I can think of. I would expect to just blend in, do the workshops, see some of the pagan podcasters or, pagan personalities that I'm aware of. Say, hi, I love your show, whatever. And keep going. But I would definitely try and blend into the crowd. I guess it would depend on how many people were there. But I definitely...
Yeah, because if it's like 10 or 20 people, it would definitely feel like you walked in on a small town meeting.
Yeah.
And everybody's wondering who you are and why you're there, which I get. But otherwise, if it's a lot more people than that, then it might just be more their introvert instincts making them leave than anything.
Maybe.
Because, shoot, I get that way when I hang out with my family.
Me too. Oh my goodness.
I'm like, I just want to go sit in the basement by myself.
Yeah.
But you just kind of have to, if you want to be part of that stuff, you got to push yourself through it.
Yeah.
And make yourself a part of the crowd that way. And maybe, it sounds like they walked in at a bad time anyway. If you're getting there for the eating time, you're going to be sitting down to eat, and you're not going to have anybody to talk to. People are talking to other. That's kind of an awkward time to show up. If you're showing up and then going into workshops and people are going into rituals and stuff, then you're doing things.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about socializing, whereas eating is about socializing, which I think would add to that feeling.
I don't know. I remember the first time I went back to my high school that I went to after going to college. And, I walked into the cafeteria, and there were all these different groups. And it was so eerie that, I had belonged there, but I didn't now. And I'm wondering if it's kind of a similar, you just walk in and there's just a sense of there isn't a place for me here.
Mm-hmm.
I
well,
can
right.
see
So
that.
that's why I was thinking showing up during dinner time was a terrible time to show up.
I don't know.
Because you're walking right into that scenario. Whereas in any other scenario, I don't think that would be a problem.
Yeah. And I've definitely grown a lot more self-confidence in the last couple of years. I think if I were to go to something like that, like 7 years ago, I would just say, you know what, I'm done. I'm just going to keep doing my own thing, be by myself. But I think now I would consider it audacity, because I'm an introvert, to go up to a table of people I didn't know and be like, hey, I'm new here. I'm just gonna sit. I'm Nicholas. I'm from Michigan. Tell me about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And try and
kind
get
of just insert yourself into it. Yeah.
Yeah, just because I've been in so many different awkward situations where I just had to make the best.
Yeah, I in my head I kind of call it biting the bullet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which my vlog has kind of caused me to be that way. I'm like, I want things to be interesting for the vlog, so I'm going to bite the bullet and I'm going to
do this thing.
Yep. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to stress about it afterwards.
Yes.
Oh my God, I just did this thing that I shouldn't have done.
Oh my God, what was I thinking?
But then I have this really great video, so it was worth it.
Yeah.
So my advice, I think, to Dan would be that for the next time they want to go to a festival or something like that, to... at the very least, go to a ritual or a workshop. I mean, he said that by the time the first ritual started, he left.
Mm-hmm.
At least hang around and try to at least be around the area of that ritual or participate in it. And by the end of it, you might feel a little bit differently. Maybe you're a little more comfortable with the surroundings, and who knows?
I don't know.
That would be my biggest advice, is just to try and push yourself through it.
Yeah. As two fellow introverts, try and keep going. Because
if you want to be part of this festival atmosphere, I think you have to kind of push yourself a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people who are pagans tend to be introverts. So I think that's why we're called to it.
Either that or very extroverted.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's one end or the other.
Yeah.
Like the really out there personalities.
Yeah.
And the really
quiet personalities.
Yes, which can form really interesting cliques, because you have the close introverted cliques, and then you have the big boisterous cliques, and both are really fun to listen to. But you know what I'm saying?
I think if I went to a festival, I'd go to a big one though.
Yeah.
Like one that I specifically knew was big.
Yes.
They don't really have them around here. There's like the Michigan Witches Ball.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of, but I've never been to it. And then they did Pagan Pride Day. Happened to fall on my sister's wedding day.
Mm-hmm. And
I thought about going to that, and I'm like, oh no, that's my sister's wedding day, so I couldn't go. But I'm not sure I would have, because I'd just be afraid of getting there, and it would only be like a selection of people.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be brave enough to participate.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely understand that.
Yeah. I would love to go. I mean, if this is all about just socializing and being part of a community and being surrounded by like-minded people, I absolutely want to go to Salem someday. Oh,
me too. I was just thinking that when you were like, there aren't really local pagan festivals. I'm like, I want to go to Salem.
Yeah. And then they have that witches ball every year. And even though I know that they really ham it up for the tourists and stuff, I have a feeling I would really love it.
Right? Yes.
Like, I would be totally at home with the hamming it up.
Yes. Oh, me too.
You could dress up as a witch and walk down the streets there, and I don't think anybody would look at you funny. Mm-hmm. You could be in full regalia, and it's cool. That's normal here in Salem.
Right? I've always wanted to go to PantheaCon.
Now, I've never even heard of that until you mentioned it just a little while ago.
It's a big pagan convention. All of the pagan podcasters I know go to it. They're always like, wrap up of PantheaCon. These are the workshops we went to, and these are the people that we got drunk with. And, I'm like, this sounds awesome.
Now, you know what is the biggest deterrent for me in festivals?
Yeah.
Is a lot of the how-to guide of pagan festivals that you see online. Mm-hmm. Like, I think the Witch's Voice did one year or something. Mm-hmm. And reading the do's and don'ts, made me not want to go.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I just want to show up and see things and do things. And they're like, well, don't take any pictures, don't film anything, don't go into the nude area unless you want to be nude, and make sure you clean up, and you should volunteer and all this stuff. And like, just this massive list of do's and don'ts. And I'm like, oh, if this is going to be a big thing, like if it's super up nose in the air type situation about stuff, then I don't think I'm interested.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just want to have a good time, see cool things, learn some cool things, and go home.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, that is our opinion.
We don't know.
We don't know. We weren't in the situation. We don't know. But I think I'm proud of him for at least trying.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, yeah, you went home, but if you never would have even tried it in the first place, you wouldn't have had that experience.
Yeah.
So now you grow from it, and you learn from it, and you keep going.
Right. Maybe try to do a little bit better next time. Stay a little bit longer, or find something a little bit more attuned to you, and try that.
Try something more local, possibly.
I don't know if it would even make a difference if it's local. Because unless you know a ton of pagans in your local area, you're still going to be walking into a scenario where you don't know anybody. And everybody's got their little cliques and stuff.
But I think part of I don't know, it would depend on the festival, but I think part of it would be making connections. And I would want to make connections with people that were within an hour or two of me, I imagine.
I mean, if your goal is to meet people and socialize and form friendships and stuff, yeah, I could see that.
Anyway, what I was going to say earlier is I've been in pagan shops before where I felt very out of place. And especially several years ago when I was very unsure of myself and very new to paganism. Mm-hmm. I remember walking into this shop in a touristy town over on the coast of Lake Michigan, and walking in there, and the little witch who kept the shop was like, "Oh, can I help you find anything?" And I'm like, I don't, because it's like a kid in a candy store. I've imagined all of these things that she sells all my life, but I've never had them all in one place at one time that I could touch and feel and see, all the stones and the incenses and the oils and,
Right.
Oh my goodness. And so just overwhelming sense of like not belonging, because I thought I knew what I was doing until I went there and found all the things that I didn't know. Mm-hmm. So I can sympathize. And in the past and I didn't even talk to her, I was like, stay away from me. I don't want to talk to you. I want to be by myself. But, I've gone back to that shop. I've reinserted myself into the situation. I've learned more about this thing and that thing and that thing. And we start talking, I start talking to her, and she starts to know who I am. And she's like, oh yeah, I sense this in your aura, and you're more approachable. It's just cool. Like, anyway. So, I don't know. That's my experience.
Okay.
But that's all I have to compare it to. That's not very much. Anyway, we have more listener mail.
We do, yep.
From a Christoph. He has a topic for us. He asks how we feel about paying for witchcraft training. He's conflicted on the issue and wondered what we thought. The idea doesn't sit well with him. Then he says, I think I'd be happy to pay for pagan books and music, but why should this be any different? A teacher gives their time and effort into teacher, so shouldn't they be compensated? Especially when there are course materials and other considerations.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I'm wondering, because of his email, is there a controversy somewhere where somebody's up in arms about it, or what? Because I've seen the paying community can be very weird sometimes.
It can.
Like they'll get mad at people for, like on eBay, selling, I'll do this spell for you if you pay this much money and I'll cast a spell for you. They get mad at people for doing stuff like that. They get mad at people for getting paid to do like tarot readings or palm readings, whatever, and that sort of thing. And I think that's weird.
Yes.
Because I think that's a lot of our roots are based in people who would get paid for helping people magically.
Yes.
In various ways. So I don't see what the big deal is. And if I'm someone who, I'm interested in paganism, I'm interested in witchcraft, and, I don't do that well with reading from books and watching YouTube videos on my own. I'm much better with hands-on teacher who can help me through it. I should be allowed to find an instructor who I can say, here's $50. Please help me.
Yes.
Show me how to do this. And it shouldn't be anybody's business if I do that.
I agree. In my opinion, I think it depends on the nature of the instruction and the role of the person in your life. I would be more than happy to pay someone to take an introduction to shamanism course or an introduction to herbal healing course. Say I was in a coven and my high priest was like, give me $20 and I'll show you how to do this spell.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a coven scenario by any means.
No.
It should be an instructor-student scenario, and that's it.
But
covens shouldn't be charging their members unless they need help paying for supplies or something. Then it's like a church and you're asking for donations.
But where's the line? Because the high priest is still instructing you. It's still a course. It just seems like the role is different to me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because when I picture it, I don't know. Because when I picture it like a classroom setting.
Yeah.
And you're teaching someone. But I could easily see, well, okay, let's do, okay, I'm a teacher and anybody who wants to learn from me can pay $50. And then they come in, I teach them, and then around this time of year, we're going to do an actual ritual together. And we're going to do this like a collect, if you will. Then I think you might be turning into a coven. But possibly. I can still see a teacher and instructor having a class project where you do a group ritual.
Yes, definitely. And it would be more than natural for him to say, to cover costs of supplies, I would like everyone to donate $5. You know what I'm saying?
And this could be our problem with, like, our society's problem with labels.
Yes,
and it's
definitely.
all labels, because it's the same thing as if I want to start a coven, but I need help buying supplies, so everybody who wants to be part of this coven needs to pay X amount of dollars. And I'll teach you everything I know, but I need this money to pay for these supplies, or to pay for rental, or whatever. And nobody will bat an eye at that. But if you just change the context just a little bit, people are going to be like, wait, that seems a bit wonky. You're having a coven, but you're charging people to be in your coven, and... Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't think it's... Again, it's going back to, I don't think it's any of our business.
No.
I mean, the person who's paying the money is not getting screwed in any way.
No.
They're still getting what they want. They're still learning from somebody in person. And someone else gets to be a teacher and can pay for things.
Yeah. But I agree. It's nobody else's business. But for my life, I think it would depend on what that person...
I wouldn't do it.
No.
Because I don't need it.
No. Yeah.
But not everybody learns the same way, which is where I'm coming at it from. Because, I wouldn't have a whole lot to benefit from going to someone and learning in person. But somebody else might be like, I can't learn from books.
Yeah.
I need to be in front of somebody. I need someone explaining it to me.
Yeah. That's entirely possible. Like, it'd be fun to take a course in tarot.
Yeah. Workshops and stuff I think would be fun.
Yeah.
Just to do it.
Just to
be around people who are talking about it and to not feel like you're like a leper.
Yes.
There's other people who are here and they're like me and they're thinking like me and talking like me.
I think that's kind of why we do the podcast.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, you just read my mind. Like, that was going to be my next sentence. It's like, I think everybody in the podcasting community is this way. We can.
Yes.
We're all like mentally connecting to a podcast.
Even though we can't have a festival right next to each other.
Yeah.
We're having a festival, for lack of a better term.
You want to hear something funny?
Yes.
When you, this is jumping back a little bit, but when you were talking about that customer who got really excited about my book.
Yeah.
For some reason, it occurred to me that some of my favorite podcasters, pagan podcasters, might be listening to our podcast.
I don't even want to think about it.
And I had this inwardly like, oh my God, kind of moment.
I don't even want to think about it.
Because we're pagan podcasters, so
Yes.
I go on and I look for other pagan podcasts, and I listen to a lot of them. So it stands to reason that New World Witchery,
Don't.
they might look up podcasts and go, who is this new people? And they could be listening to us right now.
Don't even.
And suddenly we're like a bunch of noobs being listened to by the pros.
Oh my goodness. I don't even want to think about it.
He's like getting super stressed out now. Curling in on himself. Total introvert.
The introvert is like taking over as this dark shroud just encompassing me, and I can't do anything. Let it go.
Let it go, yeah.
Just get that energy out of there. Okay, I think I've recovered.
But yeah, I don't have any problem whatsoever with people paying for services and things like that, but I'm pretty laid back about these sorts of things.
Me too. And, whatever, like you said, it's their business, whatever they want to do. Mm-hmm. Unless it personally affects me, then I don't have an opinion on it.
But yeah, if there was some way that somebody was somehow being robbed of money. Like, I've heard of these services, and I don't think they're pagan, but they're posing as real witches, but like these psychics that will give you just the right kind of information to keep you coming back, and then every time you come back they charge you more and more.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that it being bad business. That's just immoral. But if someone wants to come to you and pay you money to hear good things or whatever, I don't see a problem with that. It's if you're doing it in a way to keep them coming back every time, or if you're charging them more and more money every single time. Because I've heard of some that were like, well, I want to tell you this, but you have to pay me $15,000 the next time you come in. Like big jumps in money, and people would like go through all of their savings to maybe hear from their dead husband and stuff. That, those types of scenarios, those are definitely wrong, and I can see those being a problem. And
yes.
But aside from the occasional crook that is out there specifically to be a crook, I think I like to have the best idea of what people can be like. But
how do you know?
Well, I don't know. I mean, hey, that guy over there, he's a cheat. He'll take all your money.
I'm very untrusting. I remember one time in the same small town of the lakeshore that I went to, there was a guy who advertised tarot reading. And I was like, oh, that would be fun. It'd be fun to have someone read the cards for me. So they had times of the day that the reader would be back. And I remember, like, okay, I'll chill, whatever. I'll go grab coffee, come back. And, there was a guy there standing next to the sign giving off like super weird, creepy vibes. And so I was like, hey, do you know tarot reading is? And he's like, oh yeah, I'd be more than happy to read the deck for you. And I was like, no. Like immediately, like red flag sirens went up. And he might have been completely legit, but what I felt from the situation was just nope.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it comes down to a common sense sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if I met this person and they said they could tell my future and it cost me $45, I can afford $45. Here you go. I think that's all right. Then they tell me my fortune. I like it. I don't like it. Whatever. And then if I want to hear some more, and they're like, well, now it's going to cost you $80. I need to be smart enough to go, screw you.
Yeah.
No, thank you, and walk away.
I'll find out for myself.
So there's a little bit of a accountability there. And again, I know that I have heard the stories about the grieving widow, and they're easily susceptible to those types of things, and that stuff's shameful. But just some bad people out there doesn't mean everybody's bad, and doesn't mean everybody should be punished for it.
It's like the razor blades in the apple in Halloween.
Which never ever happened.
Yeah.
It was a lie.
Yeah.
There has never ever been a case of a child being harmed or becoming ill from eating Halloween candy.
Well, being ill, but not because of...
Well, maybe overeating, but not ill like being poisoned. Like there's never been a reported case of poisoning from a child eating something they got from trick-or-treating.
Yeah, it's all candy companies.
It's just like, at some point... well, maybe it was the candy companies. They're like, they go to the news stations and they're like, we want you to do a report about how it would be really easy to put razor blades inside apples. So then the parents never let the kids take apples.
Brownies and all the homemade snacks.
Oh my God, it's a conspiracy.
And we're back with Pagan Conspiracies with Nicholas and Lindsay.
I always thought it was just some news station decided they wanted to do a segment on the dangers of trick-or-treating just to get people to tune in. But maybe they had been, slipped a little something on the side to do a story about the dangers of razor blades and apples and poisons and brownies. Yeah.
Yeah, homemade candy.
So when great-grandma hands you that orange, you think, great-grandma's
There's vodka in this.
Why would there be vodka in an orange?
Because why not?
Great grandma is awesome.
But that's like, people are like, oh, well, they're pot brownies. And I'm like,
Pot brownies? Why would you give your pot brownies to a kid?
Exactly.
What a waste.
But that is exactly what I heard when I was growing up. Oh, you don't accept.
Let's get all the kids high.
That'd just be awesome.
Well, they're doing their parents a favor. The kids will go right to sleep when they get home.
They'll have all their candy, they'll snack, and then they'll go right to bed.
Exactly.
They'll be very mellow.
Yep, that's just what I was going to say. My great-grandma used to give us oranges for Halloween.
Aw.
And my great-grandma and my grandparents lived next door to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd go to my grandma Max, and then we'd have to walk next door before we walked down the block. We'd have to go walk next door to great-grandma's and get the oranges from her. She always dropped a big old orange right into our sack.
That makes me laugh.
And she was so happy to do it. We're like, what the hell are we going to do with an orange?
Could make it old-fashioned with it.
No. I don't want an orange. And you couldn't trade your orange away for nothing. Nobody wanted your orange.
Hey, can I have your Snickers for this big orange? No.
No.
How about the payday? I don't even like payday, but no.
Or those, what were they called, like Mary Janes or something?
Oh,
those little
yeah.
toffees that were called Janes or something like that. I hated those.
Oh, me too. But still, rather
Hated them.
not getting an orange for that.
Nope. I don't want your orange, Lindsay. Stop pushing it on me.
What, are you like some orange pusher? Anywho.
Because it's a poisoned orange, yeah.
Well, there's vodka.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Okay.
I think we have run this show to its completion.
Yes. Oh, that was a fun podcast.
I think so. It was good.
It was good.
Yay, listener mail.
Yay! Thank you so much for writing us, guys. If you would like to ask us a question or respond to any of the topics we talked about, feel free. Send us an email at toobadpaganspodcast@gmail.com.
And if you have any suggestions for future topics,
Yes.
send them our way.
Yep.
Make our job easier for us.
Or if you'd like, you can comment on our blog post at our blog at toobadpagans.blogspot.com.
Yippers.
And just add a comment there. How can people get in contact with you if they would like?
I'm everywhere. I think I say this all the time. I am everywhere. I'm on Facebook, and I know some of you guys find me on Facebook because I'm the person who gets the friend request, and I add everybody. But they'll request me, and like I kind of want to know where they're coming from, and then like just to make sure they're not spammers, that sort of thing. So I've had some of those. So like I will add them, and then I'll go to their Facebook page and see what other pages they've liked and who their friends are, and you can always tell a pagan.
Yes.
From their Facebook page.
Oh yeah, even if there isn't an obvious pagan, like pagan this, pagan that, you can kind of tell by reading through the lines.
There is one person, I don't remember their name, so I can't say it, but this one person, I go to their Facebook page, and it was like all pictures of like leaves and feet in leaves and things like that. I think they were artsy and they were trying to showcase fall, but you got nothing from their Facebook profile as to who they were, what they were about.
Yeah.
And then I looked over who they were friends with, and there was a whole bunch of mainstream witches in there. And I was like, okay, podcast.
Okay, we can go with that.
But yeah, I'm on Facebook, Lindsay Mead, Lindsay with an A, Mead with an M-E-A-D.
But yes.
No extra E on the end.
No.
And then I'm on Twitter, and if you're interested in my vlogs, which I mentioned, I am on YouTube. You can find me on there by searching my name. I have an author channel, which I don't post on very much, but my daily vlog I post on every single day, and it covers everything going on in my life. And if you want to read my book, which you absolutely should read my book.
It's so good.
It's The Beast by Lindsay Mead. Available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com.
Yep.
Ebook or paperback.
Yes. Or if you're lucky enough to live in Michigan, there are several local stores that have it.
Yeah, well, if you want it signed, you can just buy a signed copy through my my blog, too.
Yes.
Which one of our listeners have done that before.
Oh.
Yeah,
That
has
was
done
sweet
that
of
before.
them.
What?
That was sweet of them.
Yeah, they had said in a comment or something that they first listened to us on the podcast, bought my book on my blog, and then found me on YouTube. So I'm like, cool!
Yay!
So yeah, and you can email me directly at exaulta@hotmail.com. But yeah, you don't need to do the email thing. I've had a couple people message me on Twitter and stuff, and I reply back. So
I can't wait for Exalta to come out.
That's a book that is like decades away.
I know.
Don't even bring it up.
But now you're a full-time author. It'll be fewer decades away.
That was like the first book I ever came up with the idea of writing, and now it's like at the very back of my list. So it's a great story, but others have come up that are better.
Okay. If you would like to contact me, you can go to our blogspot. Also, Lindsay's links are on our blog. There's a little tab on the side with Lindsay's links and a little tab on the side with Nicholas's links. And you can find me on YouTube. If you search for just elevator music on YouTube, I have a daily vlog there. Or you can email the show. I check that email regularly throughout the day, which is toobadpaganspodcast@gmail.com. I also have a blog that you can find the link to on my links. It's just elevatormusic.blogspot.com. But anyway, I think that's about it for me. But feel free and email the podcast if you like. I'm the one who primarily checks it, but I will forward it to Lindsay if it is specifically to Lindsay. So, information.
Yeah, he doesn't keep things from me. It's okay.
No.
So, okay, yay! We're done. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much for listening. Tuning in. We really.
Dude, don't talk over me.
But we had this thing going.
Was that a thing?
It
We
was
were
a thing.
like trying to go in unison and it didn't work?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
It didn't work.
Thank you everyone so much for tuning in this month. Blessed be.
Love and light.